Hello, Sudoku fans, and good morning. Well, here it's morning. It's 22:05 in the morning. I'm just having my first coffee. And welcome to an evil level Sudoku by SudokuExchange.com. I don't really enjoy these symmetrical puzzles, but sometimes they are a challenge, and we'll have to see how this one goes. The 8 and the 6 here have to go up here in these three cells because these two block this cell. So the square here has got to be a 6 because we have a 6 here, here, and that makes this a 6. And one of these now must be an 8. And therefore one of these must be an 8. And since there's an 8 in this row, this must become an 8 now. Now 8 here and here will force an 8 to go in one of these two squares here. Let's see, a 9 here, here forces a 9 to go in one of these two cells. Seven here or here, and a 7 here, here or here. Got a 3 here, here, blocking these cells. And we got these two 3s blocking these two cells as well. This is therefore a 3. We need to find a 5 and a 6 for these cells here. There's a 6 already in this box, therefore this must be a 6. And now the 5 must go in one of these squares, and therefore a 5 will have to find a place in one of these two squares as well. While I'm thinking about that, I'm looking at these two ones. They force a 1 to go here. I don't know if I mentioned it, but one of these will have to be a 7 because we got the 7 going down here and the 7 going over here, and a ghost 7 coming up from here. But that's all in the future. 1 to an 8 still to be found here. Let me first look at the missing 3 digits here. They have to be a 1, 2, and a 5. And that doesn't give me much, so therefore I'm going to look at the remaining 3 digits. They have to be a 4, 7, and a 9. So there's a 9 up here, so one of these will have to be a 9. That's not helpful either. But it nearly escaped me that these two 4s, of course, now force a 4 to go in this cell. And this is now a 7 and a 9. I'm noticing the 4, 8 here and the 4, 8 here force a 4 and an 8 to go in these two cells here. Maybe that will help me a little bit. And one thing it does is it helps me find a 1 for this square here, because we need to have a 1 in one of these 3 squares. And since a 1 can't go here or here or here or here because they have to be a 4 and an 8, then this must be a 1. And these two now have to be a 2 and a 5. and this one here blocks these cells, so this one here blocks these cells, and the one here blocks this cell. Therefore, this is a 1. And now that we look upwards, we can see that the one here blocks these cells, and these two ones block these cells as well. So now this is the only cell that can be a 1 and making this a 1. And as we recall, we needed an 8 for this column too. So this is an 8, and that makes this cell here a 2. That's progress, I think. Now, before I continue with these 3 cells here, I want to go back and see if I can do something else here. Now that we found the 1 and we have the 4 and an 8 here, I still need to find a 7 and a 5 and a 9. And well, one of these will have to be a 2, and a 7 will have to go here, here, or here. So this is a 5 or a 9. And this could be a 9 or a 7, or they have to be a 9 or a 7, right? So I think I'll let them wait a bit. And now I'll go back and look at these 3 because they will give me these 2, won't they? Well, I know these 2 because these have to be a 9 and a 7. And that makes these a 2 and a 5. Also not helpful, these 3 guys. Well, this one must be a 1 because we have these 2 ones blocking these cells here. We have the 1 up here blocking this cell, so this is a 1. And now these 2 must be a 7 and a 9. So a 9 will have to go here or here, right? And when I look at these 2 9s here, I can see that one of these 2 will have to be a 9. So now I'm looking for a 9 in one of these 2 cells eventually. The 4 8 here, by the way, and the 6 here. Puts a 6 in one of these 2 squares, doesn't it? Yes, it does. The other 2 will have to be a 5 and a 7. There's only a single 5 here, and of course there's a ghost 5 here and here. But a couple of more 5s would be really, really helpful. I often tend to overlook the obvious when I have a box with so few givens. We only have the 1 and an 8 here, but I saw the 6 coming down here and the 6 coming up here and the 6 coming over here. So this is definitely going to be a 6 here. And now this 6 blocks over here, this 6 blocks over here, this 6 blocks down here. So one of these is going to be a 6 now. So I'll start looking at rows and columns with more than 4 or 5 givens to see if I can come up with something. The top row needs a 3, 5, and a 9. This is a 3, 5. This is a 5, 9. Well, the 9 will have to go up here in any event. Let's look at this row number 2, a 2, 4, 5, and an 8. There's a 2 and a 4 in this column. So this is a 5 or an 8. There's an 8 here. Well, an 8 will have to go here or here, yes. And a 3, by the way, blocks up here. We have a 3 here, so one of these will be a 3. Row 3, a 2, 3, 7, and an 8. Oh, 7, 3, 8. Yeah, that makes this a 2. And now one of these must be a 2, and it cannot be this one here because we have a 2 in the column. So this is a 2. And now one of these will have to be a 2. Let's see if that brings me further. 1, 2, 3, 7, and an 8. There's a 7 here, so one of these will have to be a 7, but I think I knew that already. And a 3 and an 8. No, that's not in here, of course. And before I found that, I noticed that the 6 blocks here and the 6 blocks here, so, and the 6 blocks here. Now we have this 6 block here, so this is a 6. Let's see if that helps. 3, 5, 8, and a 9. 8 and a 9, this is a 3 or a 5. 3 or 9, this is an 8 or a 5. No, not yet, but I feel that we're getting closer. Now we found this 6. What can we do with the row 7? A 2, 5, and a 7. Now this is a 2 and a 5 here anyway, so a 7 would have to go here or here, and it could go in both places. But, yes, we've got a 7 blocking up here, so therefore one of these is going to be a 7, right? And one of these is going to be a 5. What are the other 2 digits that are missing? An 8 and a 3. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to help me. But I think that now we must be able to place a 2 because we found the 6 here. Let me try to explain what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about these 2 cells. One of them will have to be a 2, right? And now we got a 2 here and a 2 here. So one of these 2 cells must be a 2. Where now can we place a 2 in row 5? Certainly not here because of this 2. Therefore, this must be a 2. And we also know that we need to place a 3 in one of these cells here because the 3 here blocks these cells. Therefore, a 3 will have to go either here or here. And since we have a 3 already in this column 3, we need a 3 for this cell or for this cell. And there's a 3 in the row here. So this is going to be a 3. And now one of these 2 must be a 3. And this was a 5, 9, and therefore this is also a 5, 9, of course. And I believe we have found a 9, and it cannot be in this cell here. Remember how we said that one of these will have to be a 9? Because of the 9 here and here, right? And that one of these would have to be a 9 because of a 9 here and a ghost 9 here. So the only place for a 9 now in this row is going to be here. And now this 9 blocks up here and the 9 here blocks over here. So this is a 9 in the top row. And that makes this a 9, of course, and this must be a 5. And now we can easily figure out what this cell is all about because these 3 have to be a 2, 5, and a 7. And that makes these 3 up here a 3, 8, and a 4. There's a 4 and an 8 here, therefore this must be a 3. But if these are 3, 8, and 4, that makes this a 5, doesn't it? And one of these was a 5, remember? Now it must be this one here. But I digress. This is a 4 or an 8, and this is a 4 or an 8, except there is a 4 already in this box. So this must be an 8 and therefore an 8. Yes, and this must be a 4, and this must now be an 8. These two have to be a 3 and a 7. There's a 3 in the column, making this a 7 and this a 3. Yes. Now, the only cell that can take a 7 in this row is not going to be this because of the 7 here, or this because of the 7 here, therefore here. And this now must be the 2 because of the 2 in a row, right? And that makes this a 5. And I seem to remember that we had another 5 over here somewhere. No, that's here or here. So, and the other one was a 2. Ah, yeah, a 2 and a 5 are missing here. We have a 2 now in the row, so this must be the 5 and this must be the 2. And the last square here has got to be a 5. Now let's see, these were 4 and 8, remember, therefore this must be a 7. And that makes this a 7 and this a 9. It can't be anything else. These two were a 4 and a 7. We have a 4 in the row, so this must be the 7 and this must be the 4. We have a 4 blocking over here and we have a 4 blocking over here. So one of these will have to be a 4. And none of them can be an 8 because we have an 8 blocking down here. We have this 8 blocking this way over and this one blocking here. So this is an 8 and that makes this an 8 and this a 4. Now this 4 blocks here, this 4 blocks here, and the 4 blocks here. So this is a 4. The last digit here is going to be a 5. Now we are getting 5s all over the place, and that makes this a 5 and this a 2. This last digit must be a 2, making these two a 9. We knew that, and the other one is going to be a 3. And since we have a 3 here, the 9 will go here and the 3 here. 9 here, and the last one is going to be a 7. Was with a degree of worry that I started this puzzle because I really don't normally like these very symmetrical puzzles because they are very computer generated. I prefer puzzles where the givens are kind of scattered all over the place. But the puzzle wasn't that bad and it was fun to solve. I hope that you enjoyed it as well and that you will come back for more. Thank you for watching and bye for now.